Hello Singaporeans and residents of Pioneer SMC. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Lim Cher Hong, PSP candidate for Pioneer SMC. I'm an author and a chartered financial consultant. It's my honor and privilege to be here today. Now, this year, the election is very different from past election. The first obvious change is we are holding an election during this COVID-19 crisis. I'm deeply saddened by our PM call for an election now. Despite our plea to delay the election till April 2021 or beyond if necessary, he is putting the life of 2.6 million voters at risk. You and I are not spared from contracting COVID-19. He is obviously taking advantage of this pandemic crisis for his own political agenda. How can we continue to trust our government to take care of us? Talking about COVID-19, there is an obvious lapses in how our ministers are managing the situation. From the time they say, no, don't need to wear masks if you're well, to now, wherever you go out, you must put on a mask or you face a fine. There's a confusion on ground. Can we wear a face shield without a mask? I'm not anti-government. Or what I want is a government that is truthful to the people and the value of the life of every citizen. The COVID situation has also unveiled the terrible living condition of our foreign workers, and Singaporeans were surprised at the huge number of foreign workers working in Singapore. When NMP Antia questioned our manpower Minister Josephine Teo whether she would apologize to the foreign worker, her reply was, "There's no need to apologize. The foreign workers are in fact very thankful for our government." This clearly shows the lack of humility in our ministers. Now, is this the type of government that you want for Singapore? Singapore has enjoyed many good years since independence, thanks to our founding fathers, plus the pioneers and Merdeka generation. We have progressed from a small fishing village to the first world city. We enjoy many firsts in the world. We are one of the safest countries to live in. We are also the most competitive country, and we consistently rank number 1 for ease of doing business. We should be proud of ourselves, but if you look around us, we hardly see anyone that's truly happy or able to enjoy what we have achieved. According to 2019 World Happiness Report, we were ranked 34th happiest country globally. Shouldn't we be ranked number 1? Why are we ranked 34th? This don't make sense, but I'm not surprised either. Our cost of living has gone up the roof, and many of our PMAX jobs are taken over by foreigners, and many living below their means. To make things worse, this COVID situation has created much inconveniences to our lives. Many of us has worked from home, and for those with young children, having to juggle between work and family at the same time is challenging. Many are out of jobs, and businesses being forced to close down. There are a lot of things that has to be done. Now, we really need a strong alternative voice in Parliament to ensure that our government is working in the best interest of our people. PSP is the party that you can trust, and we are committed to attend every parliamentary sitting to question our ministers. In our manifesto, we have detailed specific ideas, plans, and policies to champion for all of you. Earlier, I mentioned our cost of living has increased significantly. To put things into perspective, let me give you an example. You know, I used to go to the market to buy a cup of kopi O for only 60 cents, and that was just 5 years back. But now, if you go back to the same store, it's selling the same cup of kopi O for $1. Some aunties and uncles cannot even afford kopi O and drink water instead. The inflation rate is simply too high. I can only attribute to high overheads such as rental costs and staff costs. However, I do understand there is a small group of people who feels that the cost of living is alright. I can only attribute to 3 reasons. 1, you are drawing a very high income. 2, you have a very modest lifestyle. 3, You are brought up to think you must be contented with what you have. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, as a financial consultant myself, I'm always advocate prudence in our spending. However, the issue is if you deserve more, why are you settling for less? But before accepting the call to be one of the candidates, I hesitated to stand for this election. But after much consideration, I decided that I must do something for Singapore. I need to have the courage to step up to fight for the rights of our people. The current government has clearly lost its way. If I do not remove my fear to speak up for the people, there will be no future, not just for ourselves, but also for our parents and our children. At PSP, we are different. We will always put citizen interests first, because we believe people are the core of everything we do. Without people, we are nothing. This is reflected in our party logo, the trunk of our palm tree. We want to work together with all our Singaporeans to build a country that we truly call Singapore our home. Now, for residents of Pioneer SMC, you wanted choices and better living estate condition? If I'm elected to be your MP, I will improve the cleanliness of your estate by engaging a reliable contractor, upgrading plans for children playground, and implement more seniors and youth-related activities that encourages healthy living and intergeneration bonding. I'm fully committed to address all your issues, regardless how big or how small it is. Come 10 July, you are going to the poll to decide who can serve you better. Please consider this carefully. If you decided to give your vote to the current incumbent, you must be prepared to live for the next 5 years. However, if you decided to vote for PSP, a credible alternative party, you are assured to have a change that promises a better future for yourself, your parents, your children, at least for the next 5 years. Please give us your fuller support so that we can serve you better. Vote for PSP, for country, for people. Thank you.